a 5-star hotel, and I'm not going to review clothing that could be thousands of pounds or designer gear, because it just doesn't fit with my budget audience. Yep. So that's really important, to have things that my readers will actually use and read and be interested in.
Do you have a favourite thing you've ever reviewed?
I love reviewing adventure activities, because I think then you can really, with great photography, you can really talk about how much you liked or disliked it, or if you were scared or it was emotional. That's always fun. Clothing reviews as well, things I can actually use, and things. I mean, I've had some travel gear that's been rubbish, and then recently I've just been reviewing some items that are just brilliant, and you just feel really good when you have some like great clothing, like great hiking boots, or I'm not a big shopper, and I'm not too girly, so I'm happy if I can find a really good pair of hiking trousers and some hiking boots. I'm really happy. Yeah.
You're listening to the John Guinn Travel Show on seclosounds.org.
This is Seclo Sounds, and you can listen to us by clicking Listen Live on our homepage at seclosounds.org for a choice of players. Via TuneIn Radio at www.tunein.com, search for Seclo Sounds and listen online, or download the TuneIn app. You can download the Seclo Sounds iPhone app from the iTunes App Store, and you can listen to us on demand at our replay page.
Now, Becki came onto my radar because she won an award for being a great blogger. So I'm now going to ask her about the award ceremony. That sort of thing would scare the life out of me, stand up in front of all those people and saying thank you, which is why I never put up my films for the Oscars, just in case I win. But anyway, let's find out how she handled the awards night.
Congratulations on winning the Travel Blogger of the Year award at the British Travel Press Awards. I knew I was going to get stuck on that one. Were you at the awards night?
I was, yeah.
It must have been a long way from backpacking across Asia.
Yeah, it was one of the reasons I came back, actually. That, and there was World Travel Market, and just wanted to come back generally just to recoup and see everybody, and I was getting quite exhausted. So it was one of the reasons I came back. And I always knew I was going to be attending, and it was just great to be there and to know a couple of months beforehand that I was nominated. It was great.
Any highlights of the night?
Michael Palin was there, so all of us bloggers, actually, when we saw the guest list, which was sent to us, a couple of us spotted Michael Palin, and that was very exciting. So it was as a person whose travel programs I've been watching since I was very young, it was a bit of an honour to meet him, for sure.
Is he just like he is off the telly?
He's absolutely lovely. Yeah. I think sometimes you meet celebrities, and they're not what you think they are, and sometimes disappointing, but Michael Palin's absolute opposite. He's very humble and polite, and he spoke to me first, actually, so I was quite surprised by that.
One day it could be you on telly, couldn't it, taking his place?
I'd absolutely love that.
Yeah. So what is next for you?
I'm at home for this month of January, and then I'm going to Canada in February to learn how to ski. I've never been skiing or snowboarding. And then after that, I'm hopefully doing some work in Germany, and then I'm going to leave the UK again for a brief stint at the end of March, where I'm planning to go to South India and then spend maybe a month in Sri Lanka, traveling and working. And then I'm going to go back to Israel. There's lots more I want to see and write about there before I then go and tour around a lot more of the Middle East. That's the current plan.
So not much then?
Not a lot at all. No, just casually, going here and there for a little bit.
How can we follow your blogs, tweets, and Facebook page?
So my blog is backpackerbecky.com. It's Becki with an I, not a Y. It confuses people. Twitter is @backpackerbecky, and facebook.com/backpackerbecky. So everything has the Backpacker Becki name on it, so it's pretty easy to find me across all platforms.
Okay, great. Thanks, Becki. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
This is Seclo Sounds. Join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. for 1 hour in the company of Harry and Edna on the wires. exploring all aspects of the vintage scene and playing tip-top gramophone tunes. Harry and Edna on the Wireless, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on seclosounds.org. Jolly good.
Sound the big thing now.
Hi, blessings to each and every one of you. Join me, Darren Hoy, with the Reggae Takeover Show for 2 hours of the finest reggae vibes, each and every Wednesday, 9 through to 11 p.m, here on Seclo Sounds. Don't miss out on your weekly Sunshine Fix, featuring Roots, Rude Boy, Dub, Lovers Rock, Ska, One Drop, and much, much more. So go on, give your sound system a treat. Join me, wind down low, and skank the night away. One love. That's Wednesdays, 9 through to 11 p.m, live on Seclo Sounds.
It's a top, my selector.
You're listening to the John Guinn Travel Show on seclosounds.org. If you write a travel blog, please do let me know, and perhaps I can have you come on the show to talk about it, to get you some more followers. Or maybe there's a travel blog you enjoy reading. Well, let me know. Either way, it's facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show. Now, South Australia is the 4th largest state in Australia and has an area of around 380,000 square miles. Yes, as the name suggests, it is in the south part of Australia, with Western Australia to the west, Northern Territory to the north, New South Wales to the east, and Victoria to the southeast. And the southern border, which is on the ocean, is known as the Great Australian Bight. South Australia has a Mediterranean climate, with the northern areas being slightly warmer and drier. And it is home to over 50% of the country's wine production because of its ideal position and varied climate. To find out more about this part of Australia, I spoke to Amy Thomas, who represents South Australia in their London office, to find out what you can see and do there, can I cuddle a kangaroo, and all other things that South Australia has to offer. How do you get to South Australia from the UK, and how long does it take?
Well, most people will actually, of course, fly to South Australia into Adelaide. So that takes just over 20 hours, depending on which airline you fly with. A lot of people do tend to stop over, so places like Singapore, Hong Kong, Dubai, and that can help to break the journey if you don't want the long flight. Mm-hmm. Personally, I find it actually quite nice just to sit on a plane for 20 hours, watch lots of films, and have food brought to me every few hours. One tip I'd probably give people is to arrive quite late at night. That way, if you're arriving sort of 9-10 p.m, you can go straight to your hotel, straight to sleep, and then that will help with the jet lag the next day. And when you do actually get to Adelaide Airport, it's very easy to get into the city. It's only 8 kilometres, so very quick taxi ride, and you're at your hotel quite quickly.
8 kilometres, what's that in proper? Any idea?
No. I should know. What's that, about 5 miles,
about
maybe?
5 miles, I guess, yeah.
Under, yeah.
What's the weather like there, and is there a best time of year to go?
I mean, South Australia, we're quite lucky because we don't have a wet season as such. It's pretty similar, it's similar to the Mediterranean. So we're in the summer at the moment, so it will be an average of about 28 degrees. It was 28 degrees today, or yesterday, for Australians. But this weekend it is predicted to be up in the 40s. So that time of year can be quite hot for some people, especially people coming from the UK. So personally, I like to go sort of spring, autumn time, which would be September, November, or March to May. And do bear in mind, obviously, the further north you go into the outback, the hotter it's going to be. So it's just something to think about when you plan your trip.
Is it still okay to take small children there?
Yeah, absolutely fine. I mean, what I probably would say is pick your time. As I say, if children don't necessarily react very well to the heat, so maybe don't go December to February. I mean, most people probably will go in school holidays anyway. So your Easter period or your summer holidays, the weather's going to be a lot cooler then. So absolutely fine.
Is South Australia a fly drive destination, or is it easy to get around on public transport?
Either really. A lot of people will do sort of point-to-point self-driving. So, for example, Melbourne to Adelaide is very popular, or Adelaide up to Alice Springs. You've got the Greyhound bus service, very, very reasonable fares, and they'll do a lot of long distances. A lot of people hire cars, hire camper vans, and also touring. South Australia, a lot of the experiences around Adelaide are sort of 3 or 4 day trips out of the city. So some people will combine a little tour of Kangaroo Island with a self-drive up to the Flinders Ranges, for example. So, really what you prefer. And also there is the Guinn and the Indian Pacific trains, which run the Indian Pacific from Sydney all the way through to Perth via Adelaide, and the Guinn all the way from Adelaide up to Darwin. So they're quite popular, very iconic train trips as well. So quite a lot of options there.
How about for disabled tourists? Is it good in South Australia, or is it just in Adelaide itself?
No, it's very easy access. Most of the main areas are pretty similar to the UK in terms of disabled access and facilities. The only thing I would say is if people are travelling to remote regions, obviously maybe just phone ahead to your hotel in advance and just check that they're going to be able to cater for you and make sure there's not going to be any problems there. But certainly all the main areas will be pretty similar to the UK.
Can you describe the different regions in South Australia, please?
Sure. There's quite a lot of them. So I'll probably just highlight the key regions for people coming from the UK.
Okay.
Adelaide, of course, will be our capital. So very historic buildings in terms of Australian cities, very wide streets, very, very green city. We're very big on festivals and events, so a lot of those do happen in the Adelaide area. And lots and lots of food and cafe culture. So it's a lovely, lovely city. They call it the 20-minute city, basically because you're 20 minutes from the beach and 20 minutes from the vineyards in the Adelaide Hills. So it's a pretty nice city to be based for that reason. If people are going for a short time to South Australia and they've only got time to see maybe 1 or 2 things, I would definitely say go to Kangaroo Island. It's one of my favourite places in Australia. And particularly, for first-timers as well, to see the wildlife and the scenery. It's a beautiful island, very diverse. You've got over 3,000 koalas on the island, for example, kangaroos, possums, wallabies. A third of it's national parks, and also an emerging food and wine scene there as well. But Kangaroo Island would be a top pick. Most people are going to go to the Barossa as well, which is an hour from Adelaide. Big wine region. You've got big brands like Penfolds, where you can have a go at making your own wine. You've got Jacob's Creek, which I'm sure everybody's tried. Have your picture taken next to the sign and do some wine tasting. And then you do have some lovely, lovely boutique vineyards there as well. Quaint little towns, cookery schools, cycling and walking trails. So quite a lot to do in the Barossa. And you can do that either as a day trip or go out there and have a couple of nights in the Barossa. Couple more regions. We've got the Flinders Ranges, so very accessible outback. It's about 4 or 5 hours north of Adelaide, and you'll get to Wilpena Pound, which is a huge amphitheatre. It's actually a mountain range in the outback. It's absolutely stunning scenery. I would suggest taking the day to drive up there, stop in a few towns en route, stop into the Clare Valley wine region, buy a bottle of the favourite wine that you've tasted, and get there for sunset, because the sunsets are amazing in the Flinders Ranges. Have that bottle of wine and just sit there and relax. And then the next day you can do four-wheel drive tours, look for the nature and the wildlife, walking tours, scenic flights. And there's also a lot of Aboriginal culture in that area. You've then got the Eyre Peninsula. So from Adelaide, this is just a 45-minute flight. It's less explored area, maybe for second or third time visitors to Australia. It's known as the seafood capital, so if you like seafood, you will love the Eyre Peninsula. A lot of the fish and oysters you can try straight from the ocean in the Eyre Peninsula. It's also got very unspoilt coastline, national parks. But the main reason you would go would be for the marine experiences. So swimming with sea lions, swimming with dolphins. You can actually swim with tuna, the stuff that comes out the can, yeah. You can swim with those in Port Lincoln. And also, if you're brave enough, you can have a go at shark cage diving in the Eyre Peninsula. And the only other place to mention certainly would be the Murray River, which would be a day trip or a couple of days touring on a paddle steamer along the river, soaking up the wildlife, the wine and the scenery. So That's some of the places, the main places, but there's lots more to see. But that'll probably be the main highlights for you.
Still more to see. That seems an awful lot as it is.
There's loads. Yep.
Seclo Sounds.